On today's video, I'm going to teach you how to curl your hair with your flat iron. I love doing flat iron curls because once you learn how to do flat iron curls, you can go from really tight ringlets to really soft waves. You can create so many different shapes with your flat iron, whereas when you use a curling iron or a wand, you are stuck to the shape and the size of the barrel that you're using. So I do love using a flat iron to curl hair. I also love that the flat iron is going to smooth your hair as well as curl it. So if you have textured hair, if your hair gets a bit frizzy, anything like that, your flat iron is going to do a great job at smoothing your hair while curling your hair. All that being said, it is a skill that a lot of people find very difficult to master. So let's go over a really simple tutorial on how to get your hair curled with your flat iron. Like I said, there are many different shapes of curls that you can get, but we're gonna focus today on just curling the hair, just getting a curl. So I'm gonna show you what I think is the easiest way to get a curl. Doesn't matter the shape of the curl. And once you've mastered this, you can start playing with different types of curls. And I can do another video on how holding your flat iron in different angles will create different curls. But for today, we're just going to learn how to curl. Now, step one that I usually tell people is to start with your flat iron off. You're going to start practicing with no heat. This is totally cold, not hot at all. The reason for that is it takes the pressure of burning your hair away. A lot of times we've got our hot flat iron, we've got our hair, and we don't want to burn our hair. So we're rushing, we're trying not to burn ourselves, we're trying not to burn our hair. We don't need that. Let's just practice the motion without the heat to start. Obviously, you can't tell if it's working because you're not creating a curl, but just getting that wrist motion, that twisting motion, manipulating the hair in the flat iron, getting it all more comfortable before you add the element of heat is going to make it a lot easier once you do add heat. Step one is making sure your hair is really, really brushed. You don't want any tangles, and I will actually brush my hair before I start, and then I will also brush my hair, usually each section of my hair, before I apply the flat iron to it, because if you have tangles, the flat iron is not going to move smoothly through your hair. It's going to get stuck, it's going to get caught, you're going to get lines and dents and creases. The two reasons that you get a dent or a line in your hair as soon as you close it is because you're holding it here for too long, or you close it, you make a little motion, you're going to create a crease. You want to be prepared to move as soon as you close your flat iron. But if you are moving as soon as you close your flat iron and you're still getting a crease, your flat iron also might be a little bit too hot. So that is another option that you could try turning it down a bit to avoid getting the crease in your hair. Another problem that people often ask me about when it comes to flat ironing or flat iron curling their hair is getting the flat iron stuck. So you're trying to pull it through and it's doing this. So your flat iron should not do that. Your flat iron should be a nice, smooth pull through your hair. If your flat iron is getting stuck and you're having to pull it and it's jerking through your hair, you've either got a lot of buildup on your hair or a lot of buildup on your flat iron, or both. If your hair is clean and smooth and doesn't have a lot of product built up in it, you don't want any powdered products in your hair before you flat iron. I do put stronghold mousse in before I blow dry, but I don't put any powdered products until I'm finished. Nothing before I flat iron, because that would definitely make it hard to smooth the hair. And I definitely always make sure my plates are perfectly clean, okay? There is no buildup. I do not let any product build up on the plates of my flat iron at all. And if there is, that's gonna make a difference. Even if it's just on the edges here, it's going to make a difference. The last tip before we get into the motion is you wanna make sure you're squeezing your flat iron nice and hard. We want lots of tension. We don't want any of this loose, no tension at all. We want to create tension, meaning we want to squeeze our flat iron nice and tight, and you're gonna feel it pulling against your head, okay? Not ripping your hair out, but it shouldn't be loose. It should be tension. So I feel like the easiest way to flat iron curl the hair is more vertically as opposed to horizontally. It's just a more natural motion, in my opinion, for us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close the flat iron, we're gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna pull the hair down. and we're gonna keep the flat iron after we flipped it over in the same place. Now this is where it would come into what kind of curl you're creating. You can flip it halfway, you can flip it all the way. The more you turn the flat iron, the curlier your curl is going to be, the tighter your curl is going to be. But I don't really want you to worry about that too much right now. As long as you get a full half turn, that's fine. It'll be a looser curl. Anything less than a half turn is not going to be enough, but you could do a half turn, 3/4, a full turn. I don't care. Just turn your flat iron and bring it down the hair. So again, we're going to practice with our flat iron off. We're going to grab the hair, immediately start to turn, and once we've turned, we pull down, okay? And it would be curled if the flat iron was off. But I just want you to practice, and practice it in different sections of your head. You can do it this way or this way. I don't want you to worry either about what direction. Do whatever direction feels most comfortable. If going towards you feels the most comfortable, fine. If going away feels the most comfortable, fine. Also notice that I often use 2 hands to accomplish this, okay? You don't have to just use one hand. This can be a 2-handed job. So you close your flat iron, you start to turn it, and you can switch hands and use that other hand to help you. You also want to make sure that this little tail stays between your plates, okay? You don't want it to slip out the bottom like that, because then that's not going to get curled. We want to make sure that that tail stays between the plates. So what I will often do is hold on to that tail as I'm bringing the flat iron down, just to make sure that tail stays. So once you have played with that, you can start going in with heat. Taking smaller sections of hair is going to work better. Definitely work better for you than taking large chunks of hair. But again, anything that feels comfortable and makes it easier for you is what I want you to focus on. But for the most part, smaller sections of hair is what's going to be easier. Gotta let this heat up a little longer. What I also want you to remember is, despite the fact that it might look pretty easy when I do it, it's probably still gonna feel challenging for you. And that's not a reason to give up. If you try it once or twice and it doesn't work, you need to keep trying. Just don't practice on a time when you actually need to style your hair. Give yourself grace. Practice it for 5 minutes a day with the flat iron off even, and then start going in for just 1 or 2 curls with the flat iron on. Make it easy, make it light, make it not a big deal, and all of a sudden one day you'll realize that you're doing it without even having to think about it so hard. And that's when you can start going in and trying to curl your whole head. But trying to go in and curl your whole head and style your hair for the day when you're really not ready for that is setting yourself up for failure and frustration. So set aside time to practice outside of when you actually need to do your hair if this is a skill that you really, really want to get. So now that we've got heat, we're going to take a section of hair. And again, when you're practicing, I want you to pick a section, a piece of hair on a part of your head that feels easy, not starting with a piece way at the back or trying to do your bangs. Just all we're trying to do is get a curl. We're not trying to style the hair. We're not trying to create a whole look. We just want to make a curl, a confident, comfortable curl. So pick a spot in your head that feels easy. For me, this side of my head is a lot easier to work on than this side. So I'm going to get comfortable working on this side before I start going to work on this side, because if I'm not even comfortable on the side that feels more natural, doing it on the other side is going to be a nightmare. So pick a spot, a section of hair that feels easy to work with to start. So we'll take our little section, and again, we're going to get ready. We're going to get ourselves placed without closing the flat iron, because once we close the flat iron, we want to get moving immediately. Close and turn. I use that other hand to help me turn it. I grab those ends. I'm sliding down. The faster you slide, the looser your curl. The slower you slide, the tighter your curl. And there you go. You have a perfect curl. That's it. That's it. If you do all that, you will eventually get a curl. No, I was not able to produce curls like this the first time I ever started trying to work with the flat iron. I was the same as all of you. I got home with my first flat iron ever, and I was convinced it was broken because the sales lady had curled my hair with it beautifully, and I thought maybe the one she had sold me was broken because I could not for the life of me get it to curl my hair at home. but I eventually realized that I just needed to practice and learn how to do it. And now curling my hair with a flat iron is no problem, second nature, easy peasy. So if you practice, you will get there. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you find that helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. I'd be happy to answer those for you. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other videos. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.